I went into this painting with the mentality of being quick and expressive. I painted this one after a long day of serious studies, so after lots of slow work, I wanted to work off creative instinct. I masked in the background in basic shapes with a few brushes from the industrial set, using the stone wall, twisted tree, and rusted decay brushes. I like these textured brushes because they aren't super obvious, but they still provide nice visual interest. I also discovered that the oil paintbrush works great for shiny surfaces, and when you make quick, confident strokes with that brush, it can help the painting look energetic. I also enjoyed using a big soft brush to get the soft glow on the orange and on the table. I love using a soft brush to add these soft, harmonizing glows. Interestingly enough, the old skin and rough skin brushes worked well for the orange peel texture. I actually started this painting with my fingers. After a long day of painting, my hand was tired, but I could still stamp around. So I blocked in the background with textured industrial brushes. Then I started drawing with my pencil again. I wasn't overly concerned about completely accurate proportions here. After all, it's just a painting of a bike. Instead, I took the time to experiment with more brushes. There are so many great ones to explore. It's a very rough painting, but it was relaxing and fun. And sometimes it's good to just paint to relax. My dad loves trains, so I was inspired to paint this one. I quickly marked in the big shapes with my 6B pencil. Drawing this made me realize the importance of nailing down certain landmarks. When you nail down exactly where certain points go, you can go back and compare other measurements to that measurement you know is already correct. So don't put things like this in too soon or before you're ready for them. Because once you put little things like this in, it's mentally hard to change them. So lock them in place when you're ready, and then use them as anchors for placing other things. I used the burnt tree brush for some of the foliage. And the luminance light pen and flare worked well for the lights on the front of the train. The cloud brush also worked well for the billowing smoke. I started this painting super loose and scribbly with my 6B pencil. To get the table texture, I just added a layer on top of my sketch, painted a quick patch with the wood brush, and then I transformed the entire layer with the transform tool, pressing and holding the edges to get the perspective distortion that I wanted. Then I just erased out the areas that extended past my canvas. I also used a Gaussian blur on the table layer so that the texture wouldn't compete with the focus of the cappuccino. As I paint this, I'm considering what the light sources in the image might be. There's probably one light source that's coming from a window, so natural light is pouring in there, and another electric light source is probably coming from an overhead light. The overcast lighting coming in through the window makes the transitions of light and shade on the cup soft and smooth, while the overhead electric light provides us with a crisper cast shadow. These are good things to keep in mind while I'm rendering this. For the foam on the top, I draw it with my 6B, and then I sort of carve the shape design into it. The little highlights and reflections on the spoon and the cup are the little sparkles in this painting. I approached painting this fruit tart in the same way I approached my orange painting. After a long day of hard work, I wanted to relax with a quick painterly piece. I used the rusted decay brush to mask in all the shapes. Then I went in with the oil paint brush. I love this brush for the freshness that it gives, and I really think it works nicely for glossy and shiny surfaces. I'm finding that I really enjoy this type of painting for sort of warm up and cool down exercises. I wanted to try painting a transparent object. I started with the rusted decay brush and then went in with a few quick oil paint strokes. Then I selected the entire cruet and went in with a big soft brush, using various shades of gold, brown, and green. I think this started giving me that transparent look I was trying to achieve. My oil cruet was looking a bit too squat though, so I duplicated the entire painting layer and used the transform tool to quickly skinny it up. Then I merged it with my original painting layer. At this point, I'm just painting more shapes of color, deciding as I go what I want to keep in and what I need to omit. I found that streamlining my 6B pencil a bit helped me get these details down more confidently. I don't always like to paint realistically though. Here I did some really quick watercolor looking florals. I made a full watercolor set with 7 brushes and 20 paper textures that's available for purchase from my Gumroad store. To paint these quick florals, I used my watercolor round brush, pressing lightly for thin strokes and then harder for thicker strokes. I chose darker, more saturated colors for the inner petals and then lighter colors for the outside petals. For these flowers, I wanted to get the look of an oil painting. So I went in with a soft brush to start and then headed straight for my oil paintbrush. I grabbed vivid colors for the centers of the flowers, then more muted colors for the outer petals. I kept my strokes loose and painterly, not allowing myself to define every edge. I did pick up an awesome free palette knife brush from a Procreate brush creator. I used it with the smudge tool here. Go to Actions, Help, Community, and scroll down to the free brushes to find awesome brushes Procreate artists are making available for free.